The Power Play Post Show is on the air, covering minor league hockey since 2003, and now covering the Binghamton Black Bears with news, reactions, and in-depth interviews only heard here. And now, from the Box Studios in Kirkwood, New York, here are your hosts of the Power Play Post Show, Bob Howard and Taylor Welch.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. This is the show for April 21st, 2026. This is season 15, episode number 66, and episode number 580 in the long-running podcast that is the Power Play Post Show. Hello, everyone. I am Bob Howard. She is a very sick
Taylor Welch.
Do you want to explain to everybody that you're sick?
I'm sure they could probably hear it in my voice. I probably sound kind of nasally, but I'm pretty sure it's either a sinus infection or just a regular cold. But I'm hoping to be on the mend of it because it's been absolutely kicking my butt from Sunday morning actually. So yeah, I'm hoping, it's been like 3 days now that it can go away at any point.
Well, fans, we are coming to you here on Tuesday evening as Taylor is trying to get through this, and she knows that we can never go short. So, of course, that's going to be a lot of fun. But we're coming to you on Tuesday because on Thursday, the Binghamton Black Bears will be playing Game 1 in Port Huron. They will be traveling tomorrow. They're going to be leaving early enough in the day. At 8 o'clock to head out there. And, because they can get out there probably by 5 o'clock, that'll give them a great amount of time to be able to go get a bite to eat dinner. And then the guys can get back to the hotel and just kind of relax, which is obviously very good. And the reason why they're going out to Port Huron is to play this guy.
The things we did right, number one, we are finishing our hits. I think that's what frustrates them. They're a pretty soft team. Like, they don't want to be pushed around.
So, yes, we are going out to play the Port Huron Prowlers, and everybody's favorite hockey player on the ice for them, or maybe least favorite, is obviously Reggie Millette. But, Taylor, for you, it's about Ben Brockway. The epitome of Prowlers hockey is Ben Brockway, correct?
Yeah, when he's actually playing, Ben Brockway is probably my least favorite player. If he's not playing, then I'd have to give it to Parsons, to be honest.
Oh, really? Brian Parsons?
Yeah, he's like, if you combined several annoying things that just bug you and put them into one person, it's Parsons. He does the stuff that gets under people's skin, which it's a fairly relative hockey thing. It's not anything new. There's a couple people on our team that do it.
Sure.
But he does it to the extent of trying to goat people into penalties or doing things after the whistle type of stuff, and just stuff that we don't really see on our team. They do kind of, the chirping back and forth thing that it's whatever. But it's all the stuff that they do in between whistles where it's just you're sitting there really come on. So yeah, he's definitely, if it's not Brockway, it's definitely Parsons in my book.
Okay, fair enough. Now, of course, we have some obviously gems of an audio from our good friend Chris Paulin as well, and let's listen to a couple of those here. What's the really good one here? Oh,
they found a way to fit all those guys in the salary cap, which I'm impressed with. It's a great job by them.
What a great memory that was, because at the time we just thought, that's just a great quote. And thank you very much, Chris Paulin. But of course, Chris Paulin, being the associate coach, he decided recently, Taylor, to really kind of amp up his promos and just say Prowlers hockey for everything. And it'll be very interesting because in your opinion, and I just released a reel from this last show, you don't think that in the playoffs they even played Prowlers hockey?
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of after watching what I did watch with the Blue Ridge series. And let's be honest, Port Huron and Blue Ridge play, I would say, pretty similar styles with the physicality that they do. but watching and maybe it was just because I really paid attention to that last game, and it was an all or nothing type of situation. But they're very much limiting the amount of penalties they take, and as I already mentioned, they took Brockway completely out of it. He played that first game, he got that 5-minute major, and Blue Ridge was able to score on that power play, and they took Brockway out of the lineup for the next 2 games. So that tells you that they don't want to take the penalties, which is pretty much what Port Huron has done all season long. And everybody else has said it, that Port Huron basically bullied their way to the top. And that's, if you look at all of their games, they've got, 1 to 4 fights a game. Yeah. And sometimes as soon as the puck drop. So, yeah, in my opinion, they're not playing Prowlers hockey. They're not doing that at all. They're actually playing what everybody else has done all season, which is hockey, just regular old hockey. So in my opinion, that's where they're going to fall short on their end, because they're so used to playing that such a penalty heavy style that when you're in the playoffs, you can't really afford to put yourself in the box that many times. Maybe they'll get lucky and maybe they can goad a couple guys into the box, or do something to get our guys in the box, and maybe that works out for them. Who knows? But I don't see them doing anything that hurts us but doesn't hurt them, if that makes sense.
No, I understand. Now listen, the Bruised and Battered hockey podcast put out a great graphic, FPHL fight totals per team. Totals are for the regular season. The Port Huron Prowlers had 76 fighting majors in 56 games. That is insane. That's like 1.2, maybe 1.25 fights per game. The Black Bears had 29. They were second to last in the league.
That doesn't surprise me at all. And that's my whole point is I don't even know if they've had a fight in the playoffs. I didn't look, but right. I don't think they did anything to warrant any fights, and they're facing Blue Ridge. And that tells you something, because again, Blue Ridge and Port Huron are so evenly matched when it comes to that aspect about the physicality and the way that they play. You would have expected that from them, and that's not what you saw. Yeah. So I'm not expecting them to come into Binghamton and all of a sudden start fighting everybody, because all it does is put you in the box for 5 minutes and put us in the box for 5 minutes, and that helps nobody.
One of the things that I did when I went through and I crawled through I sent you obviously a spreadsheet showing you all this information. But the Black Bears actually spent more time in the box than the Prowlers did in the 8 games between each other. So the Prowlers did a good job of goading the Black Bears into penalties. However, when you're facing the number 1 penalty kill in the league, even if you do get a power play opportunity out of it, you are not really getting a chance at scoring, because the Black Bears are so good at it. And even though we spent more time in the box, we scored more power play goals against the Prowlers than the Prowlers scored against the Black Bears. So that says a lot right there.
It definitely does. And, our penalty kill has been number 1 all season long. And yet there's something different about the way they're doing it in the playoffs. Yeah. Where the penalty kill, you're watching it and you're like, you didn't even realize that the other team was on a power play, because of how much control Binghamton has over the zones and the puck. So they've been absolutely dominating with their penalties, and I that's what they need. They need to keep pushing that forward. I wouldn't even care if they got if we were on the power play, I'm not even worried about getting a power play goal. If they can keep absolutely annihilating the penalty kills, that's what would matter to me.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you at all on that. And of course, I got music playing in the background, and that just scared the crap out of me. Let's do one more audio that we haven't heard in a while. Well, maybe in a couple weeks.
You also had the coaches' challenges 2-1. They scored to make it 3-1. What did you see on that coaches' challenge?
Well, their guy hit our goalie. That was a point of emphasis for them again. Their coach was bragging about it the last time we played. I implored the league to kind of just look into it. But yeah, they hit our goalie. It was the most obvious no goal of all time, so it was an easy challenge.
That was not the one I was hoping it was going to be. Oh, this is the real one.
What's the message to the group after a game like that? This is the last time you see these guys in the regular season.
Yeah, nothing's changed with our group about results orientation. We don't get focused or fixated on results.
I just love that one. I could literally listen to that one all day long. It's so much fun. When you get into the playoffs, obviously results are important, right? And obviously, you know, he's saying that we've replayed it a few times, but the Prowlers are going to come in and they're going to try to win games, right? This is, you don't go into the playoffs and you don't try to win games. And to win games, you got to score more goals than the other team. You got to rely on Reed Cooper. Binghamton's got to rely on Dominic Tomei. So I'm having fun with those just to kind of start off the show. But obviously the Prowlers need to do something different to win games against the Black Bears. Taylor, if you had to pinpoint one thing that they could do differently to give themselves the edge, what would it be?
To do differently is to just focus on where they are with the puck and not what we're doing or trying to lay hits, because it seems like that's what they're mostly focused on, is they're trying to stop us from coming into the zone instead of trying to enter it themselves. Because that's something that we've seen the Black Bears do so far in the playoffs, is that they've just absolutely dominated control in the zones. And it doesn't matter which zone, the Black Bears had control over it, and probably the best we've seen it all season from them, which is what you expect in the playoffs. The Prowlers, I feel like, get too focused on, you know, they're and again, this was back about the regular season, and the playoffs are a different story.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, in the regular season, I felt like they were more focused on, of course, finishing their hits, you know, not being results driven. And I think that's kind of where the big difference is that we are results driven, and that's where it mattered. And that's where it's going to matter when it comes to the playoffs. So I think that's what they need to focus on now. And I don't know if that's something that you weren't working on all season, and that's something that you didn't care about all season. How can you expect your team to perform to that into the playoffs?
Absolutely. All right. Before we dive even deeper into tonight's show, let's remind all the fans that the 11x14 poster giveaway is back again this week. We're weeks into running the poster giveaway, and everybody has been amazing. Taylor gets so many messages about it, and it's going very, very well. And yes, we're going to do it again on this episode. We got only a couple more episodes where we can do this. So at some point during tonight's show, we're going to drop a secret code phrase, which I thought was hilarious. You know, thinking about if you've heard anything that we've said over the past couple of weeks, you'll know why this is funny.
You've already hinted at it, so I mean,
yes, definitely. When you hear it, that's your cue. Send it directly to Taylor in a direct message on Facebook. Taylor will be watching the inbox, and if you're the winning message number tonight, you will score an 11x14 Black Bears player poster of your choice, ready for pickup at an upcoming home game. The smile on all the kids' faces that receive these from their parents is pretty freaking awesome, Taylor.
I mean, just overall in general, I mean, it's been so much fun. Like, everyone's so like happy about it. And even the people that haven't won, they're just like, oh, I'm going to get it eventually. I'm going to get it one of these times. And I've had a couple conversations with even some of the fans that have tried. And I'm like, who would you even pick if you did win? And they're like, oh, I don't know. I can only pick one. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like winning the contest is easier than actually picking who you want, unless, you know, because a couple people are like, oh, it was immediate. Like, you know, the last one we had was a Tyson fan. She's like, I've loved Tyson. Like, he's the one. And, you know, so sometimes it is super easy for fans. And then other times you're like, oh, I got to pick just one. And it's one of those things where you just see the look on their face where they realize if they did win that they'd have to eventually figure out one person that they would choose. So it's been absolutely a blast. And the kids, I'm so happy for them. And I wish I could see the outcome of them, you know, showing it to the players and getting a signature and everything like that. But, you know, I've seen a lot of the players and they seem really happy about it. So overall, I'm just very happy about it.
Yeah, me too. All right, so stay locked in. Don't zone out and be ready, because the code phrase could come at any time.
Black Bear fans, do us a quick favor. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode of the show. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you're following the podcast and leave us a rating. It's completely free to do. It takes 2 seconds, and it tells YouTube and Spotify to push the show out to more Binghamton Black Bear fans and more hockey fans just like you. Drop a comment, too. We read them, and we love hearing from you.
All right. The Power Play Post is available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on your favorite app, and don't forget to subscribe. Join the conversation on Facebook. Search Power Play Post Show and become part of our community. Be sure to like and comment and share our latest episodes with your friends. Looking for everything Binghamton Hockey? Visit binghamtonhockey.net, your go-to source for stats, history, and all things Binghamton Hockey. And coming up on this episode of the Power Play Post Show, I just talked to him just maybe an hour ago. Black Bears defenseman and assistant captain, Jesse Anderson will be on the show. And no, folks, I did not ask him about his, bubble and everything. Keep that stuff kind of quiet during the playoffs and everything. But Jesse is A-OK, ready to go, and he is excited for Thursday. He's not even thinking about Saturday. That's the beautiful thing about Jesse, his mindset, the way he thinks. He's only thinking about Thursday. He's only thinking about what's going to happen when they set foot on ice in Port Huron.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. It seems to be the general mindset for this team is they all seem to kind of share what Brant Sherwood shares when it comes to that kind of stuff. So that definitely doesn't shock me at all. And listen, bubble or no bubble, he rocks the thing pretty well. So
he does.
I'm sure it's easier to play without one. But
Oh yeah, the vision is terrible. All right, Taylor, let's get into the first part of this, which is talking about the upcoming schedule for the Black Bears.
Yes, the dreaded schedule that everyone has been, freaking out about the last couple of days and trying to figure out what is what and where. So we're here to tell you that. So game 1 is this Thursday in Port Huron at 7:05 p.m. Game 2 is Saturday in Binghamton at 7 p.m. And game 3 is Sunday in Binghamton at 5 p.m. if necessary.
Okay, so there was a lot of people freaking out about this, and there are really kind of a lot of things at play here. So Taylor, go through this. Why did it take so long to officially announce the schedule?
Arena availability is always first thing. An example of this is in Binghamton, there was a youth groups who had rented Sunday ice times, and those needed to be worked out and moved for a possible game 3 at
5 p.m.
At 5 p.m.
Yep.
At this time, we don't know why Port Huron pushed for a Thursday game 1. It could have been an extra day of rest for their players. It could have been an extra day of preparation for the coaches, or just to mess with Binghamton, who wanted Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, which I think most of us wanted was the Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
It worked out nice last week. I don't blame anybody for wanting that schedule. The league really doesn't control this because there are many factors at play: arena availability, travel considerations, and hotel accommodations, and gamemanship between organizations, but the schedule has to be agreed upon by both parties involved.
Yeah, and I think, and I don't know this for a fact, I did have a couple conversations, I think Sunday night or Monday morning, I can't remember now. The days have kind of blurred together. I will get more recollection of what day it is and what time it is when hockey is over with for me, which is in a few weeks, right? And then you and I can go down to a better schedule and whatnot. You guys will be racing, and I'll be doing what I usually do in the summertime, which is absolutely nothing but preparing for the next hockey season. And but listen, we don't know why they were pushing for Thursday. A lot of times it is preparation. A lot of times it is gamesmanship. You want this? Oh, no, we got to have this. I personally think, Taylor, and I don't blame Port Huron for this. They played 3 games, right? So they had to play 3 games, and they played an extra day longer than the Black Bears technically on the schedule, because the Black Bears finished theirs in 2 games. That's the one thing. I think, giving their guys an extra day of rest, which still gives the Black Bears another day of rest, So it kind of balances out there. But also, I think it's preparation. You as the team that hasn't beat the Black Bears in 7 games. You've lost 7 out of 8 games against the Black Bears. You probably do need to prepare a little bit more, watch a little bit more video to see what you can do. So that could be it. It could have been an arena availability thing. I don't know. Maybe there's something going on at the McMorran Arena on Wednesday. But to be honest, fans, I saw some fans that said, well, the league should mandate that it should always be Wednesdays, Friday, and Saturday. Well, the league can't control that because they can't control what the arena availability is. That's still an important thing because sometimes arenas bring in conventions. They bring in, trade shows and things of that nature. Our arena doesn't do anything like that. I mean, let's be perfectly honest with you. They barely get anything. That's why hockey is number 1 in Binghamton at our arena. But it does happen at other places. And also, it is a legit thing. Maybe they wanted the extra day to just prepare for the Black Bears coming in.
I mean, honestly, the extra day definitely would have worked out for their favor. I don't think anything schedule-wise would have affected the Black Bears just because we did end our series on Friday. So another extra day for them, I don't think makes any kind of difference whether they played Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
I agree.
Almost
in my mind, I would have rather them play Wednesday, not against Port Huron, just for Binghamton themselves, because they can only have so many days of rest in between before you're like, oh man, they're going to be rusty when they get back out there. They take a week off in December there, and coach goes down and actually eats something he's not supposed to, and he's worried Q's going to find out about it. And so you're always worried about being too relaxed when you come into a game, I suppose. But yeah, I don't think anything affects the Black Bears going into this other than as a fan base, I think everyone really enjoyed that. The Saturday off. It's the only Saturday off we've had all season.
That was nice.
So, and exactly, I think I think we fell in love with having that Saturday off. So I think that's really the only reason that everyone was kind of freaking out about it. At least that's my opinion. But truthfully, I don't think it makes any kind of difference to the Black Bears on what day they play. I think they're going to go in there. They know what it takes to win a cup, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, and to be completely frank, waiting until Saturday to play game 2 also gives the Black Bears a little bit more time to sell tickets for Saturday's game or for game 2. And if you have any questions, because you bought tickets before the schedule was really truly announced on Monday, call the team office, right? They, once they pick up, they will help you out. But I'm looking at the tickets right now, Taylor, for Saturday's game 2. And the sides are almost completely sold out. There's probably a couple hundred on the sides. The ends, the end that you guys sit on, 21, 22, 23, doing better than the other side, which I think is 7, 8, and 9. So I think if the Black Bears win on Thursday, Friday is going to be a big selling day for the Binghamton Black Bears staff, and they'll probably sell out the rest of the tickets. And I could see them being sold out before the end of the day Friday if the Black Bears win on Thursday.
Honestly, I don't think it matters whether they win or lose. I think if they lost on Wednesday, I think that would be a bigger factor for selling tickets, and that's just my opinion.
Okay.
Well, because in my mind, it doesn't matter what happens Wednesday. Because it doesn't matter which team wins or loses, they still have to play that second game.
Sure.
So if the Black Bears go into it and win that first game, you still got to come and win Saturday. So Saturday, to me, it's not going to matter who wins or loses on Wednesday or Thursday. See, I keep saying Wednesday.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be another sellout. I think the fan involvement, especially because it's going to be Port Huron. And, we've had some interesting games against Port Huron. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about the selling
of
tickets. I'm sure it'll sell out pretty quick. And I also heard that there's going to be some Port Huron fans. And I don't know how true this is. I just kind of heard it through a grapevine that some Port Huron fans are going to come out, which I truly hope they do. I think it's awesome for opposing fans to travel for a team and, support your team and whatever.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see how many show up for their team and how loud they can be in our arena.
I agree. All right, let's start to get into this preview. for the Black Bears versus the Prowlers. We're going to start off with the goalie comparison. I wrote an article a couple days ago, put it out there, talking about all four goaltenders for the Black Bears and the Prowlers. Okay. For the Binghamton Black Bears, Dominic Tomei, in the regular season, he was 28-2-1 with a 1.83 goals against average, a .932 save percentage, and 7 shutouts. He led the league in wins. His goals against with wins, goals against, save percentage, and shutouts. And in the playoffs versus the Topeka Scarecrows, he was 2-0 with a 2.5 goals against average and an .891 save percentage. Against the Prowlers in the regular season, he was 7-0-0 versus the Prowlers, 1 shutout, 201 shots, and 187 saves for only 14 goals against, a 93 save percentage. Total minutes, he played 422 minutes in those 7 games, and his goals against average was a 1.99. Those are pretty impressive numbers, Taylor.
Oh, they definitely are, especially for somebody who it's their first season. It's definitely something that, coming into the season, everyone was, all worried and kind of panicking about the goalie situation, because it's always something that I feel like you have to have 3 great things. And one of those great things is a goalie tandem. And that's what everybody was always worried about, especially with the amount of moves that we've had with the goalies this season and everything that's happened. So yeah, for, Tomei to have that kind of record is just impressive beyond all means, in my opinion.
Yeah. And the Black Bears truly do have the best goalie tandem in the league, hands down. Whether they win or lose the championship, they went through this season with the best goalie tandem, no matter which goalie was the backup to Dominic Tomei, or Dominic Tomei was the backup to Connor McAnanama in the beginning of the season. So doesn't really matter. Speaking of Connor McAnanama, in the regular season, he was 13-2-0 with a 2.38 goals against average, a .909 save percentage, and 1 shutout. He also played 6 games in the SPHL with the Peoria Rivermen. He went 4-2-0 with a 1.41 goals against average and a .953 save percentage. Against the Prowlers this season, he was 0-1. He took the only loss, but it was still an impressive game versus the Prowlers. 34 shots. He had 32 saves, only 2 goals against, a 94.1 save percentage. In total minutes, he played 58, and his goals against average was a 2.07. He is last season's playoffs MVP and a 2-time champ. And Taylor, there's no better person you want as your backup than Connor McAnanama.
Oh, for real. That's why I said, earlier when, Connor came back, that if I was the other teams, I'd be sweating a little bit, because if you can get through Tomei and something happens with him, you still have to deal with Connor. So it's almost like it's a lose-lose situation for you, because sometimes you're like, oh, well, if, in Port Huron's mindset, if you take out their goalie, we still have Connor McAnanama. So you're definitely kind of screwed on that aspect.
Absolutely. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the Port Huron Prowlers goaltenders.
So they have Reed Cooper. In the regular season, he was 23-9-1 with a 2.28 goals against average, a .930 save percentage, and 3 shutouts. He was called up to the ECHL Kalamazoo Wings. He did not play a game. Back in the 23-24 season, he did play in 6 games with the ECHL's South Carolina Stingrays, was 3-1 with a 2.92 goals against average and an .866 save percentage. In the playoffs versus the Blue Ridge Bobcats, he's 2-1 with a 2.18 goals against average and a .934 save percentage. Against the Black Bears this season, 213 shots, 192 saves for 21 goals allowed, is a 90.1 save percentage. Total minutes, 329. His goals against average is a .383.
Now, in my opinion, when I look, I know we haven't seen Masternak, who I think plays for Monroe, played in the first game for them in the playoffs, but didn't play in the second game. There was a weird controversy or whatever, like why didn't he play? I know McPhail was a pretty good goaltender for Athens, but if I had to pick the 2 best regular goaltenders starting this year in the FPHL, because Reed Cooper probably doesn't get the same defensive support, even though they're a good defensive team, I'd say Reed Cooper and Dominic Tomei probably had the best 2 seasons in the FPHL this season.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. I think that Cooper's a really good goalie, and that's kind of why it's unfortunate that the Prowlers weren't result driven, because it doesn't help your goalie situation if, you're worried about, finishing your checks and not trying to score pucks on the other goalie. You kind of, you sometimes leave your goalie out to dry. And, thankfully for them, Cooper is a good goalie, and
Yes.
he really saves them a lot, because if without them, I don't think the Prowlers would have done as good as they did this season.
Agreed. All right, so let's talk a little bit about their backup, Bailey Huber.
So Bailey Huber in the regular season was 13-6-0 with a 2.66 goals against average and an .898 save percentage, and registered 1 shutout. This was Bailey's first season as a pro, coming out of St. John's University in the IAC, a D3. In 3 appearances against the Black Bears this season, he was 0-2 with 47 shots and 38 saves for 7 goals allowed, an 80.9 save percentage, total minutes 132, goals against average was a .318.
Yeah, he didn't play great. He didn't play bad. He didn't play, he was just okay during those 3 games that he did see some ice, because he relieved Reed Cooper in one of the games. All right, let's get into the regular season. Now, the regular season saw the Prowlers and the Black Bears play 8 times. We already mentioned that multiple times over the last few weeks. The Black Bears won 7 of those 8 games. Now, the Black Bears outscored the Prowlers 38-18. One of those goals was a shootout goal for Mac Jansen, so it was really 37-18. But we'll give them the 38th goal. Reggie Millette led in the series with 5 goals and 6 assists for 11 points. I got to be honest with you, I didn't realize that. Like when I went through these numbers, Taylor, to see that Reggie led in the series with 5 goals and 6 assists for 11 points, kind of was a shock to me. I didn't expect to see that number.
I'm sure, the same thing could happen with different teams for different series. I mean, if you took, maybe not the goals against for Watertown, because, we had some pretty interesting games against them, but I'm sure Darian Benchik has probably got quite a few goals against us. So yeah. I'm sure a lot of players, probably have done some interesting things against us for certain teams. And I'm surprised that he leads, I guess I'll say that, but I'm not surprised that it's Reggie.
Yeah. CJ Stubbs was the leader for the Black Bears. He had 3 goals and 7 assists for 10 points. Mac Jansen and Gavin Yates both scored 5 goals each in the 8 games played against the Prowlers. The Prowlers had Reggie Millette with the most points with 11, but the Black Bears then had the next 8 players in scoring. The Prowlers' next top scorer was 10th in the 8th games regular season series with 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 points. And that was not their captain, but their head coach, Matt Graham. To me, that was a surprising number, that they had number 1 with Reggie, number 10 with Matt Graham, and everybody in between was a Black Bear.
See, that's the part that definitely doesn't surprise me, just because we constantly talk about the depth on this team, and that right there shows it.
Yes, totally agree. All right, now power play goals. Binghamton scored 12 power play goals in the 8 games, and the Prowlers scored 7. The Black Bears scored 3 shorthanded goals, and the Prowlers did not. Austin DeRazio led the 2 teams with 3 power play goals and 4 power play assists for 7 power play points, so he's a factor on the power play, which he was all season long anyways. Reggie Millette and Tyson Kirkby both had 3 power play goals and 2 power play assists for 5 points. CJ Stubbs and Ivan Bondarenko both had 5 power play assists, and CJ Stubbs scored 2 shorthanded goals, and Mac Jansen had the other one. The Black Bears had 12 players with goals in the series. The Black Bears also had 18 players with points and 6 players with power play goals. The Prowlers had 11 players with goals, 15 with points, and 5 with power play goals. So, those numbers don't really kind of stand out to me at all. They're very similar and not surprising at all.
Yeah, that's definitely a little more evenly matched, and it definitely looks pretty similar there. not too much of a difference. Like, yeah, not really anything shocking or anything standing out.
No, definitely not. All right, before we get to the Jesse Anderson interview, it's time for the 11x14 poster giveaway. Please tell the fans this week's special code phrase.
Oh, if you were paying attention to the beginning, it should stick out to you like a sore thumb. Black Bears hockey.
That's right. Okay, fans, if you're the 16th person to message Taylor with the special code phrase Black Bears hockey, you will win an 11x14 poster of your choice. The winner gets to choose from any current Black Bears player and will deliver the poster at an upcoming home game. Send in that special code phrase, and thank you for listening to the Power Play Post Show. And one more time, Taylor, just for the fans.
Black Bears hockey.
Love it. And when we come back after this, we're going to have our interview with Jesse Anderson. We'll be right back right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Hi, this is Don Biggs from the 92-93 Binghamton Rangers. Hi, this is Brandon Buchinski.
This is Grady Wittenberg, the voice of the Binghamton Senators, and you're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. Very excited to have this gentleman on. He usually comes on at least once a season. This is a little bit later on in the season, but it's okay. It's perfect. We can get to talk to him, obviously, about the upcoming playoff series, the second-round matchup between the Binghamton Black Bears and the Port Huron Prowlers. He is defenseman and one of the alternate captains for the Binghamton Black Bears. He is Jesse Anderson. Jesse, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on. It's always good to talk to you.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me.
Jesse, good season, obviously, for the Black Bears. You guys basically repeated. Statistically, it's a tie based on what you guys did last year, 143 points. Talk a little bit about the season, how you felt the season went for the Black Bears.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, I think we had a really good season, I don't think anybody was really thinking about last year's record or anything like that. It was just more of just living up to what we think in the locker room we can do, and I think we did that. And was able to secure first place in the regular season, and now we just kind of carry over that into playoffs. So,
what was the mentality throughout this season? Was it still thinking? Because I know last year, as you guys were going through the season, it was about the whole back-to-back thing. You guys wanted to repeat and whatnot. Was the same type of feeling this year going through the season?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that. Like everyone's talking about us, trying to go for the three-peat. I think myself personally, it's more of just, playing the best that as a team as we can and just making sure we're doing the right things. And I think if we do that, good things will happen and, eventually make our way to where we want to be.
No, without a doubt. Now, Jesse, the last 3 years, you've played 50-plus games as a pro. As you're technically your fourth season, but your third full season as you came out of Morrisville and played about 28 games, I think it was, up in the SPHL. How's your body feeling? Because you're one of the few guys that has, over the last 3 years, made 50 games or more for the Binghamton Black Bears.
Yeah, I mean, as you get older, the body definitely feels the bruises a little bit more. But I'd say, still feel young. So trying to do everything I can to keep playing and enjoying when I do it. So, lots of stretching, lots of time using our facility to, make sure my body feels good. So.
Does the recovery take a little bit longer after a couple games on the weekend? I mean, I know you guys usually get Sunday and Monday off. And does that recovery time really help a lot?
Yeah, I'd say it's nice to have. I know for me, it's like, the body, it definitely helps the body, but I think also the mind, just kind of having that extra day just to kind of, sit back, relax, just take my mind out of hockey for a day, kind of get back into it on the Monday or the Tuesday and just refocusing up. But it's nice to have that extra day off and just being able to just let the whole body reset, essentially.
This year, you've been paired a lot with Scott Romekers. Why is it that the two of you just kind of gel so well together? Is it because you guys both have the forward mindset, now playing defense, both of you guys? What is it, in your opinion, that makes the two of you play so well together?
I think it's just like, I mean, he says it and I say it all the time. Once we get on the bench, it's just like, yeah, we got to have, I don't want to say the word, but, dumb talk, just as much as we can all the time, just so that we know exactly what's going on. I mean, as the season's gone on longer, we know we've played a lot more together. It's kind of easy. We don't talk as much when we don't need to, but yeah, when we're talking, we're usually pretty dominant out there, and we just know exactly where each other are and what we want to do. So yeah, I'd say that's pretty much been our thing, is just as much talk as possible and helping each other out that way.
Now, have you guys, come up with I know some guys on the ice, it happens on forward lines all the time, and it also happens with D pairs. Do you sometimes just know where the other one is instinctively at this point?
Yeah, I'd say for the most part, yeah. I mean, there's still times where, we're going to make mistakes, or we're not going to know exactly where the other guy's at. But I'd say, good 90% to 95% of the time, we're pretty clued in on where the other one's at.
Now, Jesse, your thoughts on this? I believe that you guys have the best defensive core in the FPHL, maybe even in single A hockey. D-Raz's scoring ability, the shutdown defense of Dan Stone. People probably don't talk enough about what Dan Weber does on the ice, from moving the puck and also being able to recover well in his defensive zone. You and Scotty can move the puck really, really well, but also very conscious. Your thoughts on your D-core, because I didn't even mention CC, and now you guys got Matt York in the wings, and of course Cheech has some abilities that we really haven't tapped into enough yet. Your thoughts on the D-core?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have one of the best D-cores for sure in single A hockey. I mean, a lot of our guys have a lot of experience, top to bottom. I know Diaz is a rookie this year, but he's shown that he can definitely handle the league. And I mean, you look at Stoner, he's been here. Myself, I mean, Scotty made the transition, but I mean, he's played professional hockey. Then CC was up in the SP for a bit last year, and then Weebs has been here for a couple of years. So I mean, it's a pretty solid D-core when you look at it, from top to bottom. Like, no matter what happens, like, I think any of us can play any position at any time when needed. So
no, 100%. Going into the first round of the playoffs, you guys obviously faced the Topeka Scarecrows. Didn't see them at all this year. Now, of course, if Blue Ridge wouldn't have, if they would have won, there was always the possibility that you guys could have seen a new team this year that you hadn't seen before, at least in the regular season. But thoughts going into Topeka and what you guys knew about them before going into that game?
Yeah, I mean, like, you're able to watch a little video. You get to see some of their tactics, some of the things they do on a regular basis through power play, penalty kill, stuff like that. And then, seeing guys that moved from other teams to go there, like, Clink, Lord, essentially a lot of the Watertown Wolves team is now in Topeka. So it's kind of remembering a little bit about what their gameplay was like, what their game style is, and kind of using that. A former teammate, Clarkey, knowing what he's like, kind of things like that, just understanding what they will possibly look like. I mean, not playing them is not the easiest to go into, but, you can always get a little bit of scouting from video and stuff. So
Give the fans a little bit of insight. I don't know if you were on the ice at the same time or near Clarkey at any given point. Is there a conversation that's had, or is there a look, a nod, or anything like that where it's like, okay, yeah, you were a friend, now you're kind of unfortunately an enemy? And how does that go? Was there a moment like that for you on the ice with him in either one of the two games where it's like, I see you?
Yeah, I mean, that didn't really come until like the end when the handshakes go through. I mean, I don't really say too much on the ice until I get really angry, but it doesn't happen very often. So usually if it's in a game and someone I played with or that's on another team now, it's usually just I'll talk to you, but it's not till the end of the game.
You guys faced the Prowlers 8 times. You guys beat them 7 of the 8 times. There were 9 fights in the 8 games that were played, mostly combined into about 2 or 3 games where most of the fights were. You dropped the gloves twice. I think Jacob Shankar dropped the gloves twice, and then there were like 5 other guys for the Black Bears that dropped the gloves. And I know that that's something that Prowlers love. They love that kind of hockey. They love to be able to be that kind of physical and whatnot. Do you think, because we all know, you and I have been watching pro hockey for a long time. We've seen what the playoffs are like. Sometimes it can get physical. Sometimes fights can happen. Do you think that we'll see some of the ugliness that we've seen in some of the games between the Prowlers and the Black Bears? Do you think we'll see that in the playoffs, or do you think it'll be more, tight defense and some physical play, but maybe not get to the point of a lot of fisticuffs?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. We'll see, see coming this Thursday, but I'm sure they'll try and pull some stuff. But I think mostly just for us, staying to our game plan and just going out there and playing hard, playing physical, but playing in between the whistles and just kind of letting our work ethic and everything do the talking.
You guys are obviously traveling out on Wednesday to go to Port Huron. What's the bus rides like for you? What does Jesse Anderson do on the bus rides? Do you play cards with the guys? Do you work on sometimes, work? Because I do know that you have basically a day job that you do when you're playing hockey as well. So what's the bus ride like for you when you go out there?
Yeah, so most of the time I'm usually working and trying to play cards with the guys, trying to do a quick balance between the two. I mean, should probably be working a little bit more, but it's kind of tough on a bus.
Yep.
So I do what I can, and then it's always good to have some card games in there with the guys, just kind of hang out, keep everybody a little loose before we gotta really lock in.
You have an A on your jersey, and the leadership group has been always, I think, one of the most important things that people maybe overlook when it comes to looking at the Black Bears. Tyson has been the captain for a few years now, and I think some of the leadership group, and again, even guys without letters on their chest, there's a lot of leaders on this team. Even some of the young guys that come in, they had C's or A's on jerseys in college or in juniors. Is it easy to be a leader on this team, knowing that everybody's kind of played a role in being a leadership member, either with this team or even previous teams before they got here?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got the common goal and we all know what we're striving for. So, it makes it pretty easy. I'm not the most vocal person in the locker room per se.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just, when stuff needs to be done, that's when I step up. If it has to be a fight or something or whatever it is, just kind of being there to support my teammates. So,
you obviously, I've always said on this show, and I said it a few times this year, when Jesse Anderson's out on the ice, quiet guy, does his business, does his thing, but if you piss him off, he becomes like a louder, more angry person. It's almost like an Incredible Hulk type of thing. Do you notice that as well, that when you're out on the ice, you kind of mind your own business and you do your own thing, but then when you see something that's wronged one of your teammates, you kind of almost, it's like, all right, I'm ready, let's go, drop the gloves and go?
Yeah, I mean, it's I just try and play a physical game, strong game, defend and make sure we're getting the puck up to our forwards. But you got to protect your teammates, especially goalies, our forwards, some of the guys that are putting the puck in the back of the net. You don't want to see them just getting slashed or punched in the face. So there's some times where it's if you're gonna push me over the edge, then let's go. Might as well. I'm not gonna sit here and wait for you. So.
And you have no problem with that. You seem to be, not that you do it often, but when you do it, it's like there is, I don't want to say a switch, and I don't want to say you just, it's almost immediate. It's yep, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, it's finding that, I guess, I guess you could say dog mentality, just being ready to go at any point. I mean, I've done it now for 4 years playing in professional hockey, so it's kind of just you got to know when the time is right, when it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at any point in the time, if it's to do with protecting one of my teammates, that's pretty much automatic.
A lot of your teammates, probably in the last 12 months, have had big milestones. Tyson got married. I think Dakota, being a former teammate, he and Courtney obviously had their baby. Other engagements. You also got engaged as well. You guys are obviously, you're 29, right? You just turned 29 just a couple months ago and whatnot.
Yep.
Life doesn't halt, right? Like girlfriends and wives and everybody kind of wants to move on with life a little bit. How important is it to celebrate those moments in life? Like when you asked your fiance to get married, those type of things. How important is that to balance out the whole hockey life?
Yeah, I mean, it was probably one of I'd say the most special time of my life, you know, being able to ask my best friend to, you know, be with me for the rest of her life. And, you know, it's like hockey's been there with me since, you know, 3 years old, but
yeah,
eventually it's going to end. And now having her by my side for the rest of my life, it's like, well, at least I can look forward to enjoying it. And, you know, yeah, hockey might not always be there in the form that it was, but, you know, I still have her, and she slowly learned hockey because of me and enjoys it. And, you know, she'll be watching the Sabres tonight. So,
oh boy,
it's always a good thing.
Are you guys excited about the Sabres tonight? I mean, just about the Sabres, just in general this year. It feels like,
I mean, it's a great thing. I mean, they haven't been in the playoffs in 14 seasons, I think.
Yes.
If they wouldn't have made it this year, it would have been 15.
Yeah.
So 14 seasons is a long time. I mean, I'm a Leafs fan, so
mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to see Buffalo do great, but at the same point, it's like, yeah, it'd be great for them. They know it's been a struggle. Who knows who's actually going to win the whole thing? I don't know. I'd like to see, you know, maybe Crosby hoist it one more time.
Really?
Is that going to happen? Probably not, but.
Well, my Rangers are out, so me and Emerson Emery are in the pity party family, probably in the Black Bears.
And Steph. Don't forget about Steph.
Yes, I know Steph. I always forget that Steph is technically a Rangers fan. It's been hard to be a Rangers fan the last couple of years. I'll be honest with you. We looked good 3 years ago, and it's completely reversed to really bad. I mean, so bad that our goalie had to get in a fight this year. I mean, come on, really? He had to get in a fight this year. I don't think I ever saw King Henrik ever get in a fight. But Jesse, one of the great things about where you guys play in Binghamton, New York, is the fans. And the fans, you guys even have fans that have traveled out to Topeka to see you guys play. Could you put into words how amazing of a minor league hockey city Binghamton, New York has been for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to describe like how great our fans are. You know, they show up every night at our home barn, you know, usually around 3,000 strong minimum. So, and then now you see all these fans coming on the road. Like, you know, we're showing up and we're getting anywhere from, you know, 100 fans to sometimes 250 fans, depending on where we're going. So it's a crazy thing. It's great. We love it. It's nice having that little fan section, you know, especially if we need a little pick me up sometimes. So yeah, I can't say anything else about our fans. I'd say probably the greatest in single A professional hockey.
Well, I've been saying for a long time, seeing that they went from the AHL to single A hockey, from AAA to single A, and then actually, you know, the attendance went up. I say it's because a lot of part of it is because you guys go out there, you sign the autographs, you take the pictures, you hang out with the kids who are absolutely in love with all of you guys. And I'm sure that as you know, some moments it's probably tiring and whatnot, but you guys continued to do it. And I think that's the reason why it's become so big and why last year, 5,100 or 5,013 fans, the most ever in Binghamton has ever been in an arena, watched you guys raise the cup. And I got to imagine at some point you guys kind of turned and looked and said, I mean, Kyle Steffen said to me at one point, playing in Binghamton's like making that you guys feel like you're playing in the NHL. That's the kind of feeling that he gets. Is that what you, when there's a sold out crowd, is that kind of what you feel like as well? It's like, wow, can it get really better than this?
Yeah, I mean, I think he said it pretty well. I mean, you look out every game day that we're out there on our home ice, and, you know, we're pretty much sold out, if not sold out. And it's just like, well, can you get any better than this? Like, I know there's some AHL teams that can't even, you know, fill half capacity on a regular basis. So, yeah, I would say like they do. They make it feel like it's our little NHL, which is great. So.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's get this one last question out of the way. For you guys, you've played them 8 times. What is the scouting report going into Thursday?
I think just kind of playing our game, our systems that we have against them. You know, we've done everything right in 7 of those 8 games. So I think just sticking to what Coach Sherwood and Coach Q have for us, and just essentially playing hard for 60 minutes is what we need to do. Yeah, like sticking to what we know. I don't want to give out too much.
No,
so
absolutely.
I don't know if anybody else I doubt they're listening, but you never know. So
hey, listen, every team has somebody listening to the Power Play Post Show. Come on, Jesse, give me a little bit more credit than that.
That is true. I don't know what their fans do and how they interact with their fans, but I'm sure they definitely have some of them. Some of them listening to you for sure. So
it's very possible. Listen, and I would never try to purposely give anything away. And I appreciate, my relationship with the team. You guys, again, you've been on at least once every, for the past 3 years here on the show. And I've had such a great relationship with you guys. You guys have made it easy to be able to come back and do a show like this where I can talk to you guys and also just talk about the team and the games and everything that Taylor and I have done. So, for me to you guys, thank you very much, because you guys have made it really super easy. And one of the best things that Coach Sherwood has done when he recruited a lot of you guys and bringing you guys into the fold is some of you guys are so articulate. It's so easy to talk to you guys and have you on the show because you guys just, I ask a question and you can easily just kind of go through and give a great answer. So I appreciate you guys a lot.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you. I mean, you definitely give a lot of coverage for fans and family members that might not be in town all the time or might not be able to talk to us about it all the time. So we definitely thank you for that.
Yeah, Jesse, good luck, obviously, Thursday and Saturday. Let's end it in Saturday so we can all have Sunday off and just watch some playoff hockey in the NHL. Sound good?
Yeah, that's the plan, but I never get too far. I'm just going to look forward to Thursday and being ready to go.
Fair enough. He is Jesse Anderson from the Binghamton Black Bears, defenseman, and we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
If you're a Binghamton hockey fan, then you need to check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your news, stats, information, the Binghamton Hockey Hall of Fame, top 10 lists, profiles, and so much more. That's binghamtonhockey.net. You're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. That was Jesse Anderson, Ando, who, well, if he needs to, I don't know if he can drop the gloves because, he's going to be wearing some extra face mask for this upcoming game against the Port Huron Prowlers. But if he had to, I'm sure he would take it off if he needed to. But Jesse, please don't Please don't. Just keep it on. There's other guys that can drop the gloves, and you don't have to worry about that. But all right, so let me pull up my outline here. Support the Power Play Post Show by subscribing on YouTube. When you subscribe and like episodes, it signals to YouTube that hockey fans are engaging, which helps recommend the show to more viewers. As our community grows, we're able to deliver more interviews, insights, and hockey discussions. Subscribing and liking is the most effective way and completely free way to support the show. Join fellow hockey fans and support and subscribe on YouTube today. Now, Taylor, I want to bring up something because I've now seen this a couple times, and apparently, according to some Prowlers fans, we take out goalies. How many goaltenders have we ran this year? You've watched almost every single game, just like I have. How many goaltenders have the Black Bears totally gone after?
Well, gone after, I would say 0. You have intentional and unintentional, and there's been a lot of unintentional run-ins where, players have been pushed into the goalie. I mean, how many times have I seen where players come in, they're trying to whack the puck in, and Tyson's right on top of the goalie, the whistle blows, and all of a sudden the opposing player pushes Tyson into their goalie, and then they're mad at Tyson for being pushed into their goalie. That's the thing that absolutely drives me bonkers. I don't know how Tyson deals with it, because I would lose my mind, because it never fails that they shove him into the goalie, and then they're trying to fight him for, hitting their goalie that they just pushed him into. And, so yeah, unintentionally, it's happened several times this season because of, bad plays. You lose your skate edge and you go flying into the net. That's happened a couple of times. I wouldn't say they've done anything intentionally. Even what Garrett Sargis did, I don't think that was intentional at all. I think it was just bad timing, bad angle, and I think it was unavoidable at the time it happened. Same thing with what happened with Gavin Yates. It was kind of unavoidable at the time it happened. Could all of it have been avoided? Absolutely. Even other people have said that, and even Gavin's girlfriend was like, he could have avoided the whole thing. It's just one of those things that happened, unfortunately.
So let me ask you this. If Gavin Yates is still out and doesn't play this upcoming series, maybe their goalies shouldn't take out our players. Maybe their goalies should get the F out of the way and not allow one of our players to get injured like they did. Because if they want to turn, I know I'm sounding very irrational, and I don't care. But if you've watched the Black Bears play this year, and this is where I can get kind of angry, and this is where I can turn into the Incredible Hulk here, and I really hate doing this. But if you honestly think our players are intentionally trying to hurt goaltenders, then you need to put on some glasses. You need to go to the eye doctors and get your eyes checked. You need to figure it out, because you know what? We don't intentionally do anything like that. But I've seen the Port Huron Prowlers do the stupidest shit all season long, whether it be the Danbury, Ben Brockway thing, at the end of last season, the beginning of this season, and their organization goes out and hypes it up and tries to build it up and everything, right? Because that's how they can sell 1,500 tickets. Well, guess what? You know what sells 48.93 tickets in Binghamton? Winning. Pucks in the back of the net and winning. Not taking out goaltenders. So get it through your thick skulls if you're a Port Huron Prowlers fan. We didn't take out Reed Cooper because we're afraid of the Prowlers and Reed Cooper. We don't need to do that. Guess what? We don't need to take out anybody's goalies like that to win games. Just look at the stats. Look at the history. Watch a freaking Binghamton Black Bears game every once in a while. And for the people that say that we're the most dirtiest team in the league, you're just freaking jealous. You're just a bunch of jealous little freaking crybabies. That's what you are, because you can't win. Okay.
That's what I was going to go on, was that everyone just points fingers and says that Binghamton is the dirtiest team in the league. And yet we've watched the last couple games that's happened between several different teams and in, between the Empire and Continental divisions. And they've had worse stuff happen in those games than anything that's happened in Binghamton. And yet people are still looking at Binghamton that they're the dirtiest team. Yet the number that you read earlier, we were second to last in fights.
Yeah.
And we're second to last in penalty minutes all year, but yet we're somehow the dirtiest team. We can't be both. We can't have the second to least amount out of penalty minutes in the league, but yet still be the dirtiest team. I don't understand. Oh, that's right. I'm sure that the other excuse is that we pay off the refs somehow. But, to Port Huron's end, they've had that guy that is apparently, supports the Prowlers, and he's somehow reffing their games. So it's all hoopla at this point. It literally,
it really
anything that gets thrown out there makes absolutely no sense. Everybody just dislikes Binghamton, and they just don't want him in league anymore because Brant Sherwood has come in here and he's pretty much mopped the floor with everybody else that said he couldn't do this. And that's exactly what he came in here and did. And it only took him, half a season to be able to build what he built.
Yeah.
I mean, he came in partway through one season and then he stood on what he meant. And that's exactly what he's done for the past several seasons. And I think everybody is just jealous of Brant Sherwood at this point. And I think the league finally recognized that they had to give him coach of the year because otherwise, who knows? Maybe we would have rioted here in Binghamton. I don't know at this point. But I think at this point, everyone's just they're so fed up with what Binghamton has done. But what Binghamton has done has helped the league so much. And I think everyone's just refusing to see that. So they just have to label it any way that they can, even though whatever they're labeling it as makes absolutely no sense. Because the only thing that they can do is they'll take one thing that's happened the entire season. Like the thing that I've seen circulate is what happened with CJ Stubbs in the Twin City game.
Yeah.
That's the thing that circulates and how Binghamton is the dirtiest team in the league. But yet Ben Brockway can do what he does every single game.
Scantleberry.
Unless he gets suspended. If he gets suspended and then he comes back to the next game and does it yet again and gets away with it. And everybody in the Prowlers fans love him. He's their favorite player because of what he stands for and what he does to protect his team. And, there's so many other players that do like the dirty hits all season long. Binghamton does it one time, and all of a sudden we're the dirtiest team in the league. He should be banned for life, and no one should be allowed to play against Binghamton. It is absolutely mind-blowing.
Did you see what Trevor Babin did this weekend when a guy was down on the ice? Yeah, he was in the crease a little bit. He's down on the ice, and what gets me is that the trainer was out there attending the player, and he starts to stand up, and Trevor Babin pushes him back down on the ice while the trainer is there. How is this allowed to happen in the league? And I'm not on anybody's side. I don't give a rat's. Everybody knows, I don't care about anybody else but what happens with the Black Bears. But how is that allowed to happen? I don't understand that one.
Yeah, that one, I feel just like you on that, where either one of those players doesn't mean a single thing to me.
Yeah, Scantleberry
or both of them did, because what Scantleberry did 30 seconds prior to that, because he gets hit, lays on the ground for the embellishment call that, in my opinion, probably should have happened, considering he looked at the player that hit him, was laughing, then covered himself back up. And then somebody came over and must have said something to him because he popped up quicker than shit and started throwing hands. And then the refs come over and they get everybody separated. So at this point, they're behind the net. They're behind the net against the boards. And somehow he ends up in Babin's goalie crease of all places on his knee.
Yeah.
Both players knew exactly what they were doing. You can hate Scantleberry, you can hate Babin, and you can dislike what Babin did, but Scantleberry knew exactly what he was doing, putting himself in that crease, and everybody in the league knows what Babin does, and everybody in the league knows what Scantleberry does. Why the refs, or the linesmen allowed them to be alone, I get it. They were dealing with the other players at the time, but still, you knew what was going to happen. Everybody could have seen that coming from a mile away. Scantleberry knew it was going to happen. It's one of those things. Should Babin have done it? Of course not. But again, the things that could have been avoided 110%. And it was just silly, stupid things that happen in this league. But yet somehow Binghamton gets the label.
Yeah. We're the dirtiest team in the league. There was a non-player on player personnel person on the ice when that happened. How the league has not come down and said, you cannot do that. You can't do that. You have a trainer or doctor on the ice. You can't get involved in stuff like that. What if one of his teammates, which they didn't do it, but what if one of his teammates would have come over and just clocked Babin at that point? Then you might have a fight actually on the ice while a trainer is on the ice. You can't do that. I mean, that's where sometimes this league gets such a bad rap. And when people see that, they're like, how do I follow this league if you're allowed to do stuff like that? And there's no repercussions to it. But to end this, Binghamton's the dirtiest team in the league. So that's fine. Taylor, let's continue on with the preview. How did the two teams get here?
Well, the Prowlers defeated the Blue Ridge Bobcats 2-1, needing all 3 games to advance, which is something that I was really hoping for. I mean, I did really wish they all went into overtime, but I'll take 3 games.
Okay.
Prowlers lost in Wytheville on Wednesday, April 15th, a 4-3 in overtime, as former Black Bear Nick Stuckless scored the game winner at the 12:59 mark of the first overtime period. And it's the first overtime period because when you're in the playoffs, there's no more shootouts, in case anybody didn't know that.
No, we know that, and I'm happy for it.
Oh, yeah. Could you imagine? That would be absolutely, you want to talk about tense. That would be absolutely the most insane thing ever, is to watch a shootout for a playoff game.
Oh, yeah.
The Prowlers then won on Friday, April 17th in Port Huron by the score of 5-1, with Reed Cooper saving 30 of 31 shots. Then on Saturday, April 18th, the Prowlers ended the series in front of their home fans in a 4-2 game, a 3-2 game until Matt Graham scored an empty netter with 1:47 left to go in the period. And as we all know, the Black Bears defeated the Topeka Scarecrows in 2 games. On April 15th in Topeka, the Black Bears won a 4-3 game. Game 1 with CJ Stubbs scoring 2 goals. Then on Friday, April 17th in Binghamton, the Black Bears won 6-2. Another 2 goals for CJ Stubbs and Dominic Tomei saving 22 of 24 shots.
Okay, so now in the playoffs, the Prowlers are led by, again, Reggie Millette, 3 games played. He's got 3 goals, 2 assists, and 5 points. He's got 1 power play goal, 1 shorthanded goal, and 1 game-winning goal. Now, Ryan Alexander, he's the D1 guy the D1 kid that came in, I believe is a defenseman. He's got, in 3 games played, he's got 1 goal, 3 assists for 4 points, and 1 game-winning goal. And Vincent DeCumbus, 3 games played, he's got 2 goals and 1 assist for 3 points. And Reed Cooper, he played in all 3 games. He's 2-1 with a 2.18 goals against average and a .934 save percentage. Now, the Black Bears, all these names are going to sound familiar too. They're led by CJ Stubbs, 2 games played. He's got 4 goals. He had 2 goals in each of the 2 games against the Topeka Scarecrows. He's also got 1 assist for 5 points, 2 power play goals, and 1 game-winning goal. And Ivan Bondarenko, 2 games played. He's got 4 assists. Shocker, right? 4 assists. You know, let's just get him to 100 assists before the end of the playoffs for the season. Mac Jansen, 2 games played. He's got 1 goal, 2 assists for 3 points, 1 power play goal. Dominic Tomei, 2-0, a 2.50 goals against average, and an 89.1 save percentage. And on the special teams, Binghamton, shocker, ranked number 1 on the power play with 3 power play goals. They converted 3 out of 6, so 50%. And on the PK, ranked first. They've given up 9 opportunities for power plays, and they've closed the door on every single one of them, 100%. And Port Huron Prowlers, their power plays ranked 4th. They've scored 2 power play goals, a 22% conversion rate. And on the PK, they're 6th. They've allowed 3 power play goals, and they've only stopped 67% of the power play opportunities. So, Taylor, we end the show with trying to figure out our final thoughts on how this series will go. I am going to say it right up front. I don't believe I'm jinxing anything here. I believe we win on Thursday. I believe we win on Saturday. I don't think that the Prowlers are going to be able to outscore us. I don't think they're going to be able to outskill us. I don't think they're going to be able to outskate us. Transition game is going to be better for the Black Bears than it will be for the Prowlers. And with that being said, I think they will sweep the Prowlers to go into the finals.
I agree with that. I think they take this series in 2 games like they did with Topeka. And, just especially looking at the special teams, just because do I think Port Huron's going to do what they've done all season? No. But do I think that they could go an entire game without getting a bunch of penalties? Also no. So being that they're ranked 4th and 6th for their special teams, I think that I think it's going to hurt them coming into the series, especially because it seems like it doesn't matter if we're in the box or not. We've scored 3 shorthanded goals against them this season. Yeah. And so that could definitely be a factor. Our penalty kill is, again, that's been phenomenal. It's insane how good it's been. And, maybe they can kind of work some magic and have a decent chance on the power play. And maybe they can't really, maybe they'll get in on our penalty kill and maybe stop it. I don't know. But it doesn't look promising just based on the numbers. And the other kind of funny thing that I was looking at when you're reading off the numbers, their top 3 guys and our top 3 guys, it's literally the same for the amount of points. It's 5, 4, and 3, and yet we've played 1 less game. Yeah,
that does say a lot right there. We're just a more productively offensive team. We've always been that way.
Would you say that we're results driven?
We are results driven. We want our defense to not give up any goals. What was the slogan again for Dominic Tomei?
No goals.
No goals. That's what he said. I really, I should copy that audio and put it out because I really do. I do love that. The way he says it is just awesome. Taylor, I have to say, the Prowlers had to play the cleanest game that they can, because I think they have a better chance if they're 5-on-5. If we're on the penalty kill, or if we're on the power play, or if it's 4-on-4, the advantage is 100% the Black Bears. 5-on-5 is the only way that they're going to be able to find a way to maybe potentially beat the Black Bears. And I don't even think they're going to be able to do that, at least not in my opinion.
Well, I think the Black Bears made a huge statement with that last game they played. I mean, they took their mantra of Prowlers hockey and beat them to it, literally. Mm-hmm. And they did exactly what they've done all season to everybody else, and they couldn't keep up. And we already know that they can't keep up if they try to play like Binghamton. So it seems like it's going to be a lose-lose situation. What I truly hope for, because when it comes to this kind of stuff, you want, and again, somebody kind of said this earlier, you want to beat the best teams because you are the best team.
Sure.
And so I truly do hope that they come into this playing their absolute best. That's what I want from them. I don't want them to come into this and do, their whole, they're going to finish their checks. No, just play hockey. Come into this and play hockey like you're playing it for the cup, because that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. For your fans. For your fans.
Exactly.
If you're not going to do it for yourselves, at least do it for your fans. And listen, checking is a part of hockey, but it shouldn't be your primary thing. Your primary thing should be stopping pucks and scoring goals. That's what it should be. And when teams are guided that way, they're the ones that win championships, right? When they implement systems and they work, that's what wins championships. All right. So before we go, you might hear us again on Friday if Taylor's feeling okay, and we might do a reaction one like we did last week. It depends. Taylor, if she gets worse, then maybe not. If both of our schedules get whacked out on Friday, I don't know yet, then maybe not. But the hope is that Taylor feels better, because we got her through this. This is like an hour and 17 minutes that she probably should have been laying down, resting her eyes instead. I got her all fired up, and she's probably all beat red in the face.
Listen, I couldn't talk this morning, so it's slight progress.
Slight progress.
And the most annoying thing about that is I woke up and I was like just scrolling through my phone because I was like taking a couple minutes, and Jeremy looks at me and he said something to me. And I couldn't talk. And he's like, are you just not going to answer me? And I'm like, I can't. And he's like, well, why can't you? And I'm like, because I can't talk. And he goes, well, why can't you talk? How many more questions would you like to ask me when I cannot answer you?
Oh boy.
Like, you knew that I was sick. Like, come on, man. Cut me some slack. You asked me 45 questions.
I feel like I'm sitting through a fight right now between the two of you, and he's not even here to defend himself. All right. So fans, hopefully that's what we'll get. We'll hopefully get out 30 minutes about game one on Friday. We'll see if that happens. Be looking for it. I'm hoping that we can get that done. All right. We're going to end that here. We both think that the Black Bears are going to sweep the Prowlers. All right. The Power Play Post Show is available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on your favorite app, and don't forget to subscribe. Join the conversation on Facebook. Search for Power Play Post Show or PPP Show Bob and become part of our community. Looking for everything Binghamton Hockey? Visit binghamtonhockey.net, your go-to source for stats, history, and all things Binghamton Hockey. Thank you to Rob LaPolis, our MC, John Petitucci, our music director, and from the Binghamton Black Bears, Jesse Anderson. Until we talk to you guys next time, I am Bob Howard. She is
Taylor Welch.
And we'll talk to you next time right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Power Play Post Show. Be sure to tune in next week to the Box Studios Radio Network for all the latest Black Bears news and interviews from around minor league hockey. The Power Play Post Show would like to thank John Patitucci for all the music you hear on the show. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.